This is 16 hours ago. Golly, what's up, YouTube? This is crazy, man. This fog. What is going on with this fog? Now, I don't know too much about it, and people been sending me videos and stuff. So I guess we about to learn together about this fog. Global fog, government patients, sickness. Bill Gates, This is straight from the, I guess, the purple D. Some of the things I don't want to say. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy out.
Welcome. New Year's Eve broadcast, guys. Excited to be with y'all. I'm Shane Winnings. And I'm first praying that we don't have any issues tonight. We've had some issues in the past nights, but I think that we're going to be good tonight. And we're going to be talking about this crazy fog. Have you guys seen it? Let me know in the chat. Where have you guys seen it? Where are you seeing it from? This morning I posted an Instagram video, and we had, within an hour, probably 50 to 75 comments, people from all over the world that were commenting, man, I'm seeing it too. I'm experiencing this fog. And they're saying some crazy things there, that it smells. Again, this was the first time that I had ever gone outside, and I smelled like I don't even know how I would describe it. I've seen people saying like a burned tire smell or a chemical smell, a sulfur type smell. Let me know what you guys think. What have y'all been smelling? If you've been smelling anything. And you know what? Some of you, maybe you haven't. You haven't smelled anything at all, and that's fine. I just want to know where everybody's at and what everybody's dealing with. I'm going to get the chat pulled up here.
Wow.
So that I can see what is happening.
Hey guys, thank you for watching our videos. If you want to check out our live channel, the Music Recording Network Live, where we dive deeper into videos that we put up and talk about different things that's going on in the world. You can participate in our chat, or you can come on live. You don't even have to show your face. Go to our live channel, subscribe, voice your opinion, because we would like to hear from you and help us come up with solutions. Now, let's continue on with this video.
Guys, I'm excited for tonight. It's New Year's Eve. What are your plans? What are your plans after this? I'm looking forward to this live tonight because I have a lot of stuff. Guys, I have some stuff that I don't know if this is going to get my channel taken down. What I tried to do was pull all of my videos and references from YouTube so that I could actually at least know, like, hey, this already exists on YouTube. And so maybe, just maybe, they won't take me down. And so we'll see. One of the things we're looking at, look at this right here. Let's see, we got someone saying nothing to my neck of the woods in Texas. That's great. Came off a cruise in Port Canaveral, stayed home sick. I'm right near Port Canaveral. Family night at church, staying home from Missouri, chemtrails everywhere in Virginia. Man, guys, this stuff is happening. Listen, make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We want to get this video out to as many people as possible. There's a lot of people staying at home tonight for New Year's Eve. And I pray for the next hour and a half or so, 2 hours, that I can encourage you guys. But I can also, before I encourage you, and you know how it is, you guys come to my channel. I don't like to be dramatic. I don't want to try to. No one should leave my video and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid I need to go build a bunker. If I ever make a video like that, either the world has gone terribly wrong or I communicated in the wrong spirit. And so I'm praying that when you guys watch my stuff, that you are encouraged by the end of it. But before we get to the encouraging part, man, we've got to tell you what's actually going on. Like, I've got to give you guys the no crap, this is what's happening. I have patents. I've got video. I've got Bill Gates talking about depopulation from his mouth. I've got Bill Gates funding weather modification stuff. I've got bills from the state of Florida. I've got a lot of stuff. This is not just some opinion live stream. And so I don't know what you were expecting when you came, but I'm going to give you some evidence. I've got receipts with me. I've got plenty of them. And so make sure you're sharing this video. Get the word out. I appreciate all of y'all. Let's get right into this. I don't want to have a long intro. Let me say hi to some of you guys. We got people from Florida, people from Buckley, Washington, Houston.
This is important.
Let me know in the chat. I know we had a lot on Instagram. Let's just start a new kind of thread right now in the chat. Have you seen the fog? Was there a smell? Was there anything weird to it? And where were you at? So I'd love you to say, like, you know, for me, it would be Melbourne, Florida, thick fog, smelled weird, you know, and I'm also sick. Like, I don't feel sick. I don't know how to describe this. I don't feel like I have a sickness. I feel like my body's responding as though, you know, when I'm around certain kinds of dogs and definitely cats, this is how I feel. Like I have an allergic reaction. And so sometimes my eyes will burn or my nose will be stuffed up and also run. Like it's super, my sinuses kind of flare up. I don't actually feel sick. I just feel like my body's responding to something. And that was kind of one of the things that triggered me was like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel like a sickness to me. This feels like an allergy, you know, like I'm responding to an allergen. Let's see. Vancouver, Washington, Northern Virginia, Cleveland, Tennessee. Nice. I met my wife in Cleveland. She went to Lee. Okay, Pam hasn't seen any fog. Haven't seen any. Decided not to go out today. No fog in my area, says Jackie. All last month, family got inflammatory sickness for weeks. Normal fog. Hey, let me say this too. I'm going to show some stuff and kind of dispel it because there are normal things happening. Like fog is not abnormal. The flip-flop in the weather is not abnormal. But I am going to show what we call in the police the totality of the circumstances. I'm going to show you everything, and I'm going to say, hey, what do you think of this? Again, even this video that I'm showing right here, I don't know. And this is why I say this. We'll just get into this video that I'm showing right here because I've seen this one shown a whole bunch, and so I wanted to bring it up. I had a very powerful flashlight when I was a police officer. And when I would shine that thing in Washington State, especially in the wintertime, you know, a lot of moisture in the air where it wouldn't be raining or anything, but it would look similar to that. I guess I'm pointing up to my TV. I should be going right here. It would look similar to that. Now, again, I can't tell because of the perspective, but I will say this. This is a very powerful light that we're seeing in this video. And the more powerful the light, the more intense the water particles are going to look. And so if you were to just shine your iPhone flashlight, it wouldn't look this big. Now, I'm not saying that this is nothing. I mean, if you look at this, it clearly looks like some kind of snowstorm or a blizzard or whatever. I agree with the caption. It doesn't look like fog, especially in Florida. And I'm not saying these people are making these things up. I would not say that. But I will say, on a very foggy morning, depending on the temperature of the air, with a very powerful spotlight, which again, you look at, this guy has a legitimate spotlight. You're going to see a lot of stuff in the
particles
air.
And stuff.
And again, I was talking about this even yesterday when I was talking about the seeker-friendly church. I hate fog machines, but one of the reasons that the production team for the event we were doing, they said, hey, we need to introduce a little bit of fog so that the lights catch it more. And so there is something to be said about that. Again, I'm not saying that this is not legitimate, but I just want to bring that up as something to think about because, again, people are looking at us and they're saying, oh, you guys are denying fog and all this stuff. No, don't listen to any of that because I am about to start going through the crazy thing. I spent a couple of hours today doing some research on all of this. And so my question is, what do you think is going on? Is this Sears 2025? Again, that stands for severe enterovirus respiratory syndrome. It is a conspiracy about the government, but it's very similar to C19. I'm going to try to talk in somewhat of code so we don't get shut down, so we don't get this video blocked because YouTube will try to do that. What do you think? Do you think it's Sears 2025? Do you think, well, let me just ask the question straight up. Do you think it's fog? Or do you think it's something else? Thank you guys for tuning in. Some people saying, I just got here. I'm so grateful that you're with us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up. That helps us reach more people. We've got 244 people watching. We've got 90 thumbs ups. You guys hit that thumbs up. It's New Year's Eve. When you hit the thumbs up, it pushes it up in the search engine. So some kid gets on, some family gets on tonight and says, what's up with the fog? Boom, they're going to be joining us live. I'm going to be here for a bit because we've got a lot to cover. I think my own wife might be watching from the other room. All right, a lot of comments are talking about fog everywhere. Not fog, something else. We're going to make a case. What do you think? Is it smart dust from DARPA? Have you guys heard about this? Smart dust, where they're putting microchips that are the size of a dust particle that you could ingest, or that they can introduce into your body, and they can track your brain waves. They can track everything about you within your body. Do you think it's that? I couldn't see a lot of evidence for that, but nothing is outside of the realm of possibility. I want to say this. First of all, if there's any doubters here, and I see some fellow Floridians hopping on. Hey, welcome from Winter Haven. I used to wrestle up at Winter Haven. We had a tournament up there every year. If there's any doubters here, then I want to ask you this. Why did Florida just introduce a ban on all weather modification, including chemtrails? Check this out. We're going to pull this up right here. Let me see if I can get this pulled up. We're going to pull this up right now. We're going to do a little on-screen capture. And let's go to Safari. All right, here we are. Check this out. All right, look at that. Real time. We got this thing up and running. Here's what it says. State Senator Ileana Garcia from Miami, Republican, has introduced Senate Bill 56, aiming to prohibit weather modification techniques like cloud seeding and solar geoengineering. The legislation targets practices that have been part of scientific research for decades and controversial political discourse more recently. SB 56 aims to outlaw any atmospheric interventions meant to alter weather patterns. Guys, why would we have a senator bringing this up unless this is a legitimate need? It would outlaw any atmospheric interventions meant to alter weather patterns, temperature, or the amount of sunlight that reaches the Earth's surface. It was filed for the next legislative session that begins in March. So they're gonna look at this in a couple of months. And here's what she said. As a leader in the community, I'm committed to addressing the real issues. How many of you believe this is a real issue affecting our communities? Garcia said in a post on X, where she also shared a post from a user praising her bill and pointing out suspicious contrails. Again, how many of you have seen chemtrails and you're like, okay, over the last few years, people have been talking about chemtrails and it's like, okay, yeah, sure. And now you're like, wait a minute. I'm telling you, after tonight's live, you're not going to look at chemtrails the same. I have evidence. I have military operations that have happened. I have patents. I've got videos. You are going to learn a lot tonight. And then we're going to encourage you, because the more you learn, the more you're going to be like, what in the world is going on? But don't worry, I won't leave you there. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. This is in this article. I can't even highlight. Scientists have been experimenting with weather modification for a long time. This is a known fact. Cloud seeding has been applied locally and globally to increase water supplies and fight droughts. Substances such as silver iodide are released into the atmosphere to produce rainfall. This is, I mean, they're saying it right. So if anyone's like, oh, cloud seeding's not real, chemtrail, it is right here. I'm going to give you way better evidence than this, but like, it's right here.
Wow,
Researchers
man.
have also looked into how it may reduce the effects of storms and other natural disasters. No way. Weren't we talking about this? Weren't we talking about them affecting the hurricanes a few months ago? Steering the hurricane, trying to weaken the hurricane. There were, I won't even say the word conspiracies anymore. The only difference between a conspiracy theorist, or the only difference between a conspiracy and truth I've heard is about 6 months. So, and some people are already saying it, Operation Popeye, and I've got videos of Operation Popeye. We're going to talk about that. If SB 56 is passed into law, it might serve as a model for how other states handle weather modification. Critics assert that respecting natural processes and controlling use are necessary. Yeah, I think we should just let the earth do what it does because God designed it, and he didn't design it with people in mind in 2024 who would need to all of a sudden come modify it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
That's my opinion too.
Here we go. Brian Williams, a food science sophomore at Florida A&M. This is a student, but his opinion is relevant. I honestly worry that weather modification can become misused and could disrupt agriculture or potentially manipulate natural disasters. If Garcia's measure is approved, it would be unlawful to purposefully change the atmosphere by injecting or releasing chemicals that influence weather patterns or the amount of sunlight. Florida has funded research into weather modification and allows it with a license. Okay, so let's look at this. Oh, last thing. This is important. SB 56 would repeal almost a dozen Florida statutes that permit cloud seeding and other state licensed weather modification techniques to induce rain, prevent any further advancements, and forbid the injection, release, or dispersion of any material or device into the atmosphere within the state's boundaries. Guys, this is happening. It's happening. It's right there. And welcome, guys. We've doubled our live stream since I even began that article. So to you guys just tuning in, thanks for being here. As a thank you to me for doing this video. The only thing I ask you to do is hit the thumbs up so that more people can hop on and see. We have evidence that Bill Gates could be behind this. We have evidence that this wouldn't be the first time. We have evidence that the government has done this before. We have evidence of a hypothetical operation that includes something like what we're talking about right now. Stay tuned. We're going to cover a lot of things. So Florida Code, they have a whole section on this already. It's Florida Code 403.281 through .311. Someone's asking, what can we do? You would notify your state government. Send your senators and congressmen and women emails. Send your governor's office emails. If everyone did this, we say, listen, we don't want this in our state. You follow suit with Florida and ban weather modification. It's just like what's happening in the school boards. It's just like what's happening with DEI across the country. You go voice your opinion. You flood them with emails. You flood them with letters. You go to their office. You get in their face. You say, look, we elected you. And you don't have to be mean right away because they might listen to you. Maybe they're not even thinking about it. You say, hey, are you going to do something about weather modification? If they don't listen, that's when you turn up the heat and you say, you're going to do something about this or you're not going to get reelected. And you band together. It's time. It's just like I said when we're dealing with these pastors that want to preach this whack stuff. You go to that pastor and you say, if you preach one more crazy sermon, I'm out of here. My tithe is gone, and I will tell every person that I know in this church to leave too. You're not going to keep doing this. Like, guys, the way that you fight back is you just speak out. I'm fighting back just by making this video. So again, I say to the doubters, if this stuff didn't exist, people say, oh, chemtrails, that's a whole thing. If it didn't exist, why would it be recognized by the state? Oh, Florida has a long history of it. Why would there be 12 statutes in the Florida Code permitting weather modification as long as you have a license? And weather modification meaning increasing or decreasing rainfall, trying to cool the surface, trying to block out part of the sun. That is within these 12 statutes. Why would this even be listed if it wasn't real? And then furthermore, why would a senator put her stamp of approval on a bill and say this thing needs to be banned?
True.
It's because they're real and you know it. And listen, if it does exist and it's no big deal, then why does Florida want to ban it? You've got to see this stuff is happening. I pray your eyes are opening up. Now, here's the big question. Is Bill Gates behind this? Now, you know he was heavily invested in the C-19 test runs, if you want to call him that. He was heavily invested. As well as the jabs. Made a lot of money off of that. He's also scrutinized, and for good reason, regarding his desire to be involved in all the farming stuff, the pesticides, the treating our food. He's talked about injecting our meat and other animals with the jab. What is wrong with this guy? Again, this is all easily researchable stuff. I'm looking at the comments now. I believe that for sure. Yes, for control. Yes, yes, yes. I heard the weatherman say in 2 weeks we'll have a blizzard and negative temperatures. Again, I don't doubt it. And some people are saying, and this could be true again, look, I'm not a meteorologist. I took a meteorology class in college, but that doesn't make me an expert by any means. We've got a front coming in. Okay, well, tell me how that affects people in India who are dealing with this, in Ireland, in Australia, in every part of the globe. It is a global thing. I'm going to make a case why I think it's Gates, because he has talked about cooling the globe. You know that Gates has openly talked about depopulating the earth, right? I want you to watch this. Right here. Watch this video.
This is scary.
Get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra. But let's take a look.
Zero?
First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. If we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. We could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
We could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Wait a minute. Lower it? What? I mean,
are you kidding me right now? He straight up, what do you think of this? Let me know in the chat.
Wait a minute.
What do you think of this? The guy literally said we have 6.8 billion people. If we do a good job with vaccines, we'll see that number come down 10 to 15%. Now, I'm going to try to.
What does he mean by that?
Play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Because I did a lot of research on this. Again, I'm not the kind of guy who just likes to post something and just run with it. Like, I do my research. And so I did a lot of Bill Gates research, which, pray for me because I feel like my brain is fried listening to this guy talk. But yeah, that is an old video. That is from a TED Talk 15 years ago. Now, someone says, I don't think he's behind cloud seeding. Charles, I'm going to make an argument that he could be. And I know that it's been going on for a long time, but I think that he's throwing his hat in the ring. Now, I watched a lot of stuff from Gates, and Gates said, if people are healthier, then they will live longer and they'll want to have less kids. And so then the population will go down. His argument, which again, I don't believe, and if you really look at the science of the vaccines, people aren't living because of them. I got to be careful, especially on that topic. I don't want to get kicked off. We've got over 600 people live right now. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you're just here, hit that thumbs up button. We got to ratio the thumbs up to how many are watching so we can get this up in the search engine. People need to watch this video because it's going to be factual, and then we're going to end with encouragement in the name of Jesus. But before we do that, I've got to give you all the data. So I'm going to tell you everything straight up, and I've got the receipts. I've got the websites. I've got the videos. Right now we're talking about Gates and his depopulation. He says if we're healthier, then we will less people will be on the earth. I think that's what he's saying.
I'm hoping that's what he's saying.
But then he's doing something else. Like, who's with me on that? He says one thing, but then he does another. He says we're about health, but then he openly says we need to depopulate. He says the vaccine's healthy, but then people are dying, right? Dying suddenly. Again, I got to be so careful. And this isn't about vaccines, but just know that this is the guy who is pushing for some of these other things. Again, so someone said, I don't think he's behind the cloud seeding. I'm going to blow your mind with the first article that I pull up. Okay, let's get this up. This is the first article I'm going to pull up. Someone said, Gates isn't behind this. It's been going on for a long time. Charles, I wish you were wrong, my friend. A Bill Gates venture aims to spray dust into the atmosphere to block the sun. What could go wrong? Now, this article is from 2021, all right? Microsoft's billionaire founder, Bill Gates, is financially backing the development of sun-dimming technology. Just pause for a second. Let me know in the chat, what do you think would happen if we actually dim the sun? What do you think?
We needed that some of these summers,
so
man.
He's investing in sun-dimming technology that would potentially reflect sunlight out of the Earth's atmosphere, triggering a global, say the word global out loud wherever you're at, global cooling effect. This is not isolated to America. This is not isolated to Florida. His desire is for a global cooling effect. And people say, oh man, he couldn't pull that off. You know, you wouldn't be able to do it. False. We have the ability to pull this off. We have the infrastructure. We've got the resources. And I want to make an argument that it's happening right now. I believe that, I truly believe this. And if it comes out that it's not, I'll issue an apology. I'll come on here and say, hey, I was wrong. But based on everything that I've read and we're going to go over tonight, I believe that they're already trying to do this. And I believe that they have been doing it for some time. All right, let's continue. The stratospheric controlled perturbation experiment launched by Harvard University scientists aims to examine this solution by spraying non-toxic. Oh, good. Thank you. At least they're admitting that they're spraying something, but that's good. Just know that it's organic. Calcium carbonate dust into the atmosphere. Okay, so pause. Harvard University is spraying calcium carbonate dust into the atmosphere. A sun-reflecting aerosol. An aerosol. It is an aerosol. How many times should I say that before you get it? It is an aerosol. They're spraying it into the atmosphere. I'm not trying to be annoying, but you need to know this in your brain.
That's what I'd be trying to tell
it's
people.
Not happening. Widespread research into the efficacy of solar geoengineering has been stalled for years due to the controversy. Opponents believe such science comes with unpredictable risks, including extreme shifts in weather patterns, not dissimilar to warming trends we're already witnessing. Can I tell you, when someone said, of course it's not toxic. Yeah, not toxic. Yeah, hey, Bill, I believe you. Gosh, I got to be careful. I'm feeling a little spicy when I read all this stuff. When I'm just like, dude, I got to relax. Like, Lord, keep me focused. Don't let me get in my flesh. I got to stay on course. I got to stay in the spirit. I'm here to expose wickedness and then to bring the light and the hope of the world. That's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to be all spicy towards Bill Gates because that's how I feel. Now,
Yeah, I got to learn that too.
I don't think it. Tell me,
Sometimes I
how
get in my
many
feelings
expert
too much.
scientists and meteorologists do we have? Someone said be spicy. Annie, do not encourage me. I don't know if you need to be a meteorologist or an environmentalist, but do you need to have a degree to understand that trying to block the rays of the sun could be detrimental to the globe? Like maybe, just maybe, the world was created by a creator.
Wait a minute.
And maybe, just maybe, that creator knew exactly what he needed. Do you guys?
I, in a way, I can disagree just a little bit, because we've been tearing up the ozone layer for years, and I think we have started tearing up the ozone layer faster and faster and faster. For example, the more things we burn, the more smoke go up in the air, and the more we tear up this ozone layer. And I think that the ozone layer used to protect us from the sun rays a whole lot more. The earth is tilting a little bit. You can believe this stuff or that, but all this stuff comes together. I don't think the creator, God, I don't think that, well, he probably did know, but my point is, he probably knew that we was going to do this to try to help fix the ozone layer. I think all this has to do with trying to fix the ozone layer. You understand what I'm saying? So in other words, that's the long story short. But I think also that the ozone layer, because of the manufactured smoke going in the air, the carbon dioxide from all the cars, we building more and more cars, more and more cars. Now everybody and their mother got a car. We got 3 or 4 cars, traffic all over the place. They build bigger roads. For years and years and years, we got more and more cars, more and more factories, more and more boats, and all this engine, combustible is tearing up the ozone layer. So every summer, your summers are getting hotter and hotter and hotter. I remember over the last winter, I can't wait. I can't wait to the summertime. I hate cold weather. But this summer, Jesus, mother Christ, it was cooking outside, boy. You couldn't. I think I'm gonna change my mind about liking summer, because it was blazing hot outside, record breaking. If we don't do something, Bill Gates, this is what they thinking now. The scientist people, they smarter than me. They smarter than us. I hope that they know what they doing. They sit down and say, man, you're right, we got to do something, because in 5 more years, we're going to be reaching temperatures of 135 degrees outside. Who can handle that? Air conditions in people's houses is going to be freaking busting up. Electric bills going up too high. We're going to be burning up too much electric. I don't know what cycle of problems we're going to have with this. So maybe they do need to put a fog. We need a big old umbrella over the world to stop the sun rays. Could be not.
Have you ever studied, like, if the Earth was 1 degree off of its axis, what would happen? If the Earth was 1 degree cooler, or 1 degree, and I'm not talking about, your city. I'm saying the Earth. If it was 1 inch further away from the sun, we would all freeze. If it was 1 inch closer, we'd all burn. Like, one of the arguments for a creator to atheists, it's called fine tuning. And it's the reality that our globe is so finely tuned, in our solar system, it is so precise that there is no way it could happen by chance. So do you think that creator, God Almighty, needs Bill Gates to shoot aerosol into the sky to reflect the sun to help cool? Hey, God, listen, this is Bill Gates talking, I'm sure. God, you did a great job. I got to give you props. You created everything, thousands of years ago. And really, up to this point, you've been killing it. The Earth is pretty great. amazing creation. The mountains, I thought that was a nice touch, you know, Grand Canyon, all that stuff. You did a good job. Here's the thing, God, and you seem pretty busy maybe, and so maybe you're not aware of this, but there's this thing called global warming, and basically the earth, we're telling everyone it's heating up, even though no glaciers have melted and the water level of the ocean hasn't risen. But we keep saying it is. And so what we're going to do is that wonderful sun that you caused to rise and set and warm us, well, we're going to inject aerosol, non-toxic, calcium carbonate into the sky. We're just going to shoot back some of those rays so that we can... This is the stupidest sounding conversation that I've ever had. This is what's happening. This is someone trying to play God. But let me just say this too, and this isn't far off, and you let me know what you think. Gates and this whole group, and I will make a case for this as we go through more of these articles, they are not looking out for your best interest. I do not believe that anyone believes that the earth is actually heating up. There is no evidence of this. I believe it is a power grab. I believe it is a fear and a scare tactic, and it's for control. I'm going to make a case of why, and I think I've got a pretty compelling argument. Looking at some of the big scam to get big money. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. It is.
Okay.
God does not make mistakes. That's right. Who gave Gates the right to do this? No one. You know why? Gates has $103 billion. And so people fold that money all the time. He's been throwing money at vaccines and at stuff like this for years and years and years and years. You don't even want to look into the stuff that's gone on in Africa. And I think Nigeria, he's also involved because of his... again, he talks about depopulation. This isn't his first rodeo. David Keith, the professor of applied physics and public policy at Harvard, recognizes the very many real concerns of geoengineering. It is true that no one knows what will happen until it's released. Is this a gamble that you want to take? Someone said DeSantis did a few months ago. He signed a bill. Shoot me the bill number if you find it. I saw a couple of bills, but I saw the one that was just proposed. And so I know there's something else coming down the pipeline. Let me know what you think in the chat, but is this a gamble that anyone would be willing to take? Very many real concerns. No one knows what is going to happen until we shoot this calcium carbonate into the air. That's not something I just want to gamble with. Like, what if you throw us into an ice age? You ever thought they're going, we'll chance it. It's probably going to be okay. It's not like trying to screw something into a wall without measuring and just eyeballing it. We're talking about reflecting the rays of the sun by shooting things into the sky. Oh, and by the way, forget about the fact that we might block out the sun and all this stuff. What if we actually succeed and it gets too cold? What about all of the people inhaling this crap, which is where we're at right now? Guys, we're almost to 1,000 streaming. This is incredible. Please hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't. I've got more coming. We're just scratching the surface. Okay, that was one article. Here's another one. The billionaire plot to block out the sun. This was written 2 months ago. Okay? Let me shrink this. 2 months ago. What was once a goofy plot point from Highlander 2 and The Simpsons may one day come to pass. Billionaire weirdos, I like whoever wrote this already. Billionaire weirdos in Silicon Valley are plotting to block out the sun. Why? We're running out of time to stop the rapid warming of the planet, and a radical problem may soon require radical solutions. Again, I don't believe that. Here's what I think. I think they've been doing this for some time, and I think what's happening is that we're beginning to see some of the effects of it, and so they're justifying It's like a firefighter who creates a fire so he can put it out. I think what they're doing is they've been doing this weather modification. They've been doing it, and it's causing some issues in isolated areas. And so they use that and they say, see, the earth is warming up. See, look at Texas. One day it's 110 for 9 weeks straight. And then right after that, it's going to be 20 degrees. That's how it was when I lived in McKinney. Literally, that was one of the reasons we moved. I was like, this extreme weather is bizarre. It is triple digits for 10 weeks straight in the summer, last 2 years ago, 2023. And then it snows. And you're like, what in the world is how is this happening? And they're saying, oh, this hasn't happened for 100 years. Yeah, I believe that and again, there's chemtrails everywhere. What if they are, here's a theory, they're doing this in small doses to get a reaction. And then they get to point and say, look at Texas, man. It's triple digits. Then it's single digits. Global warming. We've got to intervene. We've got to Then they can bring it out into the open, what they've already been doing. It's a recipe for unintended consequences, but it's popular in the move fast and break things world of Silicon Valley. This is insane. I would show this clip from The Simpsons, but that will definitely get us copyrighted, so I won't. Just know that The Simpsons predicts like everything, and there's multiple reasons for that. I believe one of them is demonic. The other one is that they're tied in with a lot of people who are making these decisions. Again, listen to the words I just said. Making decisions. This stuff is not happening on accident. C-19 didn't surprise all of us. It was a plan. It surprised us. It didn't surprise them. The planet is getting hotter, and the disastrous effects of that warming are no longer theoretical. They're here now. You see, when they say things like this, what are you, the common person, supposed to say to that? No, they're not. They're not. How do you argue it? They can say these things, and then you can't argue with them because you're just a preacher. You're just a teacher. You're just a businessman. What do you know? Again, who is Gates? Gates is the guy who literally created Microsoft, and then he also created viruses so that he could sell antivirus software. He has done this on a micro level. Why would he not do it on a macro level? Like, he's showing us who he is. Creates a software, then he creates a bug that's going to ruin the software, and then he sells you the antivirus software that kills the bug that ruins the software that he made in the first place. You think that this guy is not investing into your downfall so that he can come and be the savior? And you can give up a little bit of freedom in exchange for safety. Again, if you remember, we're going to click off of this because it's just a whole bunch more.
Now, coming from an IT person, facts. The same people who are making these viruses to make your computer mess up, it's the same people that's selling you the virus protection. McAfee, rest in peace, and all these other virus protection. But they got to make the virus first. And they got that from Bill Gates, maybe. I don't know that part. But there's so many people making viruses, right? And we was taught that I use a lot of Macs. And at first people saying, Macs don't get viruses. Only Windows computers does. Well, that's kind of true, because the majority of the people was buying Windows because it was a cheaper computer and everybody wanted a computer. You know, in the public, they don't want to pay a lot of money for anything. They rather buy a car for a penny instead of buying a car that's quality. That's facts. Anyway, so the people that's making these viruses are targeting the majority of the people because they want their computer to work. And hey, you need a virus protection because the internet's got all these viruses, even though we're the ones making it, right? The lie. So just like the radar detector, they made the radar detector, the radar for the police officers to detect how fast you're going and all this stuff. The same people that made the radar is the same people that made the radar detector. We have the formula, we own the rights and the patents, and we're gonna make a radar gun and we're gonna make a detector. Yeah, this is facts. These are facts, y'all. So we can get money on both sides of the fence. Wow. That's what's happening.
More crap. If you remember when I taught about the PSYOP, that is one of the things about a PSYOP. They want to bombard you with all of this stuff, but then you look at the government and they come in as the solution. They're the heroes. They're saying, give us a little bit of freedom. They're not going to ask for a lot. Give us a little bit of freedom in exchange for security. That's what Gates has a history of doing. Okay, another one. Nope, we've got another article. Are you guys appreciating this? Is this helping anybody? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate y'all being on here tonight. Hey, Happy New Year. We are still getting into it. We haven't even ratioed the thumbs up yet. We're at 400 and we've got 1,000 streaming. We need a bump. Those are rookie numbers. If you're watching this and you haven't clicked the thumbs up yet, I don't know why not. I feel like I'm giving you some good info. I'm just saying, help us reach more people. I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for you to click a button. Fog generating product may limit mold, bacteria, and C19. This was written in 2020. Let's see. A dry fog. Everyone see that word? What is that word right there? Fog. Have you been seeing people describe it as a fog? Interesting. This was written 4.5 years ago. A dry fog that kills airborne viruses might sound like a sci-fi movie intervention, but a product developed and patented by the U.S. Department of Energy's Pacific Northwest National Laboratory has made the idea possible. The product, which has been a work in progress for decades, is called 𝗟𝗡 and has been commercialized by a South Carolina company of the same name. 𝗟𝗡 was made to remediate mold. Good. Let's shoot a mold killer into the atmosphere. But laboratory tests show the product is also effective against bacteria and viruses. Hey, you know what? I know that Kills Primer is very good against mold too. Should I just start using that instead of my body wash? Kills Primer, you know, just to make sure I'm all covered up from bacteria and viruses. Gosh. We'll fog eggs in a hatchery and the mortality rates will drop significantly. We'll kill virus. Can I stop? I'm sorry that I keep interrupting, but I feel like as I read, I'm having an out-of-body experience. This is actually happening. Like this is not a hypothetical. This is happening. Listen to what they're saying. We will fog eggs in a hatchery and the mortality rates will drop significantly. Okay, so they're fogging eggs in a hatchery. What's next? Please tell us. 𝗟𝗡 is neither a poison nor a chemical. Oh, good. Everybody, you can return your hazmat suit to Amazon. They are letting us know it's not poisonous and it's not a chemical. Good. So I feel safe now. Big Daddy Government told me that it was safe, and so I trust them. How many of you trust Big Daddy Government? Let me know in the comments. Listen, if you're tuning in, I'm getting spicy again, and I'm sorry. I am a preacher. I'm also a veteran, former cop. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a citizen, and I am ticked at what's happening in our country. And so I'm going to end with biblical truth, a biblical worldview, and I'm going to end with encouragement, but we're not there yet. Okay, so I'm just going to lay these facts out, and I'm going to comment on them plainly. So I'm just going to keep going. Once the fog is released from micro aerosol generators, it stays in the air for 72 hours, visiting every corner and cranny of an area. The neutrally charged substance hunts for both positively and negatively charged microorganisms. Good. It's not a chemical. It's not a poison. but it does proactively hunt positive and negatively charged microorganisms. Great. The main ingredient is hypochlorous acid, not to be confused with hydrochloric acid, which is produced by the human immune system. This is great. It's like removing the car keys from a vehicle. We're not blowing up the pathogen and disintegrating it, we're disabling it. That's important because if we were to blow it up, we would be creating tiny little fragments. Science doesn't know what would be in those fragments. Sure, we also don't know what will happen when we spray the air with aerosol calcium carbonate, but we're going to go ahead and do it because what the heck? That's just how we roll around here. Amick says, I can do a 40,000 square foot building that's 4 stories high, and we can be in and out of there in 6 hours with the 4-man crew. It's so simple, so easy to be deployed, and there's no cleanup afterwards. This guy should be on Shark Tank or QVC. This reads like an infomercial. Let's see, anything else? Alderson mentioned a 6-month study that was performed at the Madigan Army Medical Center in Washington State. Madigan, I've been to Madigan before. That was right across from my Special Forces camp compound. Funded by the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, a unit of the U.S. Department of Defense. The study showed that Parasol eliminated the most common hospital pathogens such as staph without corroding any of the sensitive equipment in the surgical suite. Wow. This is crazy. Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. The company is also waiting for the product to be approved by the Environmental Protection Agency. You're going to see in a lot of these articles the EPA is very involved, and that's a problem. It's going to change everything. Public safety. Oh, the government's here. The government is going to, they're going to protect you. Everyone, prepare to be protected. What do we have here? Another Bill Gates article from April 2024. They just tested a way to deflect the sun. A little before 9 a.m. on Tuesday, an engineer named Matthew crouched on the deck of a decommissioned aircraft carrier in San Francisco Bay, pulled on a pair of ear protectors and flipped a switch. A few seconds later, a device resembling a snowmaker began to rumble. Interesting. A device resembling a snowmaker.
Wow. Wow.
That is sure something, isn't it? Anyway. A few seconds later, a device resembling a snowmaker began to rumble and then produced a great deafening hiss. A fine mist of tiny aerosol particles shot from its mouth, traveling hundreds of feet through the air. Have we totally ruined any conspiracy doubters yet? If you're still here, are you not believing this? Are you believing this now? Are you guys with us? This stuff is happening. These guys are bragging that we test this and it works. It was the first outdoor test in the United States of technology designed to brighten clouds and bounce some of the sun's rays back into space, a way of temporarily cooling a planet that is now dangerously overheating. Don't worry, we can do all of this stuff because the planet is dangerously overheated. And so that gives us the permission to do whatever we want to do. Blazin, thanks for this donation. He says UK Wales had bad fog for about a week. It cleared and came back. Every day is foggy, but not as bad as now compared to last week. Me and my family haven't been sick for 4 years. We are all sick now. God bless you. Hey, God bless you too, man. Thanks for donating to the ministry, and I appreciate your input. That is how we feel, man. I never get sick. I eat well, I exercise, I lift, I get all my vitamins, I eat meat, I eat fruit, I drink milk, I do everything And in the last 4 years, I've been getting sick like 1 or 2 times per year. I used to get sick maybe once every couple of years.
Me too.
I rarely took a legitimate sick day off of work as a cop, and I pretty much never did when I was in the military. It is crazy what's happening. So thanks for that input. But now we're back here. They're telling us this was just a few months ago. Okay, this was 8 months ago. They did an outdoor test. Why? To brighten clouds and bounce some of the sun's rays back into space. The scientists wanted to see whether the machine that took years to create could consistently spray the right-sized salt aerosols through the open air outside of a lab. If it works, hear this, if it works, the next stage would be to aim at the heavens and try to change the composition of clouds above the Earth's oceans. You guys are wicked, man. You guys are evil. Does this just tick anybody else off? Like, Universities, foundations, private investors, and the federal government have started to fund a variety of efforts from sucking carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere to adding iron to the ocean in an effort to store carbon dioxide on the sea floor. Maybe you should just leave it the heck alone. How about? Brightening clouds is one of several ideas to push solar energy back into space. Sometimes called solar radiation modification. That sounds nice. My throat is just so scratchy. Gosh, it just feels like someone's constantly following me around with a cat, which would bug me for multiple reasons. But one of them being I'm allergic to cats, and I'm not going to make this about cats. I don't like them. I'm sorry if you like cats. I'm just saying
I'm not a cat.
Cats might have come after the fall. I don't know if they were in the garden. I'm just going to leave it at that. They got snake eyes. Their eyes aren't right, man. Something's off. I need to seriously relax.
I mean, I'm not.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Trip off cats,
Happy New Year. All right, we're almost done with this article.
I don't understand.
And yet the idea of interfering with nature is so contentious, organizers of Tuesday's test kept the details tightly held, concerned that critics would try to stop them. Interesting. The idea of interfering with nature is such an issue that when you say kept the details tightly held, what they mean is we didn't tell anybody because we don't want anyone to stop us. Let me look into some of these comments really quick because I got some people who really like cats. I'm sorry. I apologize. Cats are not in the scriptures. You and cats. Oh yeah, my wife's on here. She knows, man. Ghost Rider says, I'm with you on the cats. I've got one protector and it ain't them. My cats are not offended that you don't like them. I would just say this. Everyone, and let's pause on the weather thing for just 30 seconds. Everyone that I've ever met's like, oh no, you would like my cat. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't. Because they're going to do the same thing. We had a cat when I was growing up. Let me tell you what happens with cats. They're cute and they're like cuddly and they're playful. And then all of a sudden they get possessed like Judas and they try to kill you. They hide. They wait for you to come around the corner. They want to gouge your eyes out. They want to bite your ankles. They want to swipe at your legs. They hate you. You feed them. They bite you and hiss and they arch their back up. And it just makes me feel some kind of way. And so everyone who's ever told me that your cat was awesome, when I spent time, the lie detector found that that was a lie. The survey says that that was not a true statement that you just made. Let me know if you have a cat that has never tried to disfigure your face. I maybe I'll meet that cat. Every Every cat. Everyone I know. Oh, you'll love my cat. My cat is the best. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're going to try to kill me. I'm not going down from a cat. Okay. Let's watch a video.
The record number of fires burning across Brazil's Amazon rainforest has prompted renewed global outcry over climate change.
Wait a minute. I have a note. Where am I supposed to watch this? Chemtrails video, Bill Gates again. This is from 2019. Okay. I don't have notes on. I don't think we're supposed to watch this whole thing.
Big spending. $5 million from Leonardo DiCaprio.
Let's just watch some of it.
£10 from the UK.
Oh, I remember this. This is good.
Bill Gates is backing the first high-altitude experiment of one radical climate change solution, creating a massive chemical cloud that could cool the Earth. It's called solar geoengineering, and it's highly controversial.
Okay, this explains what we're talking about, so pay attention here.
Experiencing these climate impacts before someone gets desperate and says, hey, we need to cool the planet with solar geoengineering.
It would look something like this. Thousands of planes would fly very high and use nozzles to inject millions of tons of light-reflecting particles into the stratosphere. It would create a thin chemical cloud of those particles around the whole planet, blocking some sunlight from reaching the surface. It would mimic a giant volcanic eruption, which we know cools the Earth. Back in 1991, Mount Pinatubo erupted in the Philippines. It was the largest eruption in a densely populated area, creating avalanches and giant mudflows that left more than 700 dead and 30,000 homeless.
Okay, so again, Bill Gates is he's involved with all this. Let me see if they have cloud seeding. Is this cloud seeding?
Played on.
A study last year found that no existing aircraft can inject the stratosphere at a high enough altitude, but developing a new high-altitude tanker would not be technologically difficult or prohibitively expensive.
They know this because they tried.
Nozzles still need to be designed that can continuously blast out trillions of particles, and scientists...
I just drop an L in the chat for everyone who ever told you you were crazy for talking about chemtrails. This is common knowledge. These people are proud of this. This is CNBC. This is from the United Nations. They said, yeah, we tried. We don't have a plane that can get high enough. We're already trying to do this, by the way. That's what they're telling you. This is 5 years ago. This is 2019. When all your friends would have said, you are stupid for thinking that they're putting chemicals in the air, go put your tinfoil hat on. This was on CNBC on their YouTube. This has 500,000 views. It's not actually that much for them having 4 million subscribers. They're telling you, hey, we don't have a plane that can go high enough and we don't have a nozzle big enough because we need to pump trillions of particles into the atmosphere. Confirmed.
We'll need to decide what chemicals those particles should be made of. But unlike cloud brightening, which is another solar reflection technique, the tech needed for stratospheric injections is not far off.
The technology is not the main thing that's holding this back. The main thing that's holding it back is the uncertainty about what the exact effects would be and the positives and negatives of its effects.
Okay, so she's saying it openly in what we've been reading. We have the technology. I told you this. We had the technology back in the 60s with Operation Popeye, which we're going to watch a video of. People are saying right now, we're up against some dark stuff. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. She's saying we have the technology. That's not the issue. We have the science. That's not the issue. We have all of the logistical needs. That is not the issue. The only issue is a moral issue. Maybe a legal issue, but these guys that get high enough, they look at Fauci. Fauci is not going to be held liable for anything. Look at all of these people who are up top during C-19. No one is holding them accountable. They are above the law. And so when it comes down to a moral issue, if you want to do something bad enough, if you have the ability to do it, if you're already doing it on a small scale, what's stopping you from taking that leap? Well, I argue they're admitting they've been doing it to some degree. You look at C-19 and how most people react like sheep. I'll do whatever you tell me, Big Daddy government. Just tell me what I need to do, how many freedoms I need to give up to be a little safer, and I'll do it. And so they go, you know what? They did everything we said. Man, we told them 6 feet. They know when you talk and when you sneeze and when you whatever. We told them that they could take their mask off when they sit, but when they stand, they got to put it on. We told them that, and they did it. These people are stupid. This is what they think of you. This is what they think of me. It's what they think of humans. This is how they look at people. How demonic is that? And so when you've got an issue like this, where she's saying, we have the ability to scale this thing, it's just we don't know the effects. At some point, with all the money and all of the work that's behind this, they're going to go, hey, whatever. Let's just do it. And we'll see. Kind of like the C-19 jab. You think that they couldn't roll out worldwide cloud seeding? They rolled out a worldwide jab. Worldwide, multiple doses. Again, let me just say this in the chat. If you got it, there is no shame against you. As long as you made your decision based on what you thought was best at the time. I will never shame anyone. I'll never condemn anyone. I will point out and just say, hey, look, this is everything that came out now. Everything I preach, if you follow me, you have to live your life with conviction unto the Lord, because you're not going to stand before me or any of these leaders one day. You're going to stand before God. And so just know, when I say these things, you're accountable and responsible for your own life. I am here to try to inform you so that you can make a good decision and you can live and be informed. And
I'm going to cut it right there. We try to keep our videos at 1 hour long. But I will say this, with the mask thing, I never, when COVID was hitting and everybody was running around and these masks, millions of dollars worth of masks was being sold, I'm researching this stuff, and one filtration company stated, and 2 doctors stated, COVID on this side go through a filtration system this thick, and it still didn't 100% filter everything. So with that being said, and the filtration company said, we feel embarrassed because people think if you have a mask on, you can't catch it. I heard people who got COVID 4 times say, I don't know how I keep getting COVID because I always wear a mask. Because you've been brainwashed, because people think that if you wear a mask, you're not going to catch it. You know, then some people are thinking, well, wearing the mask will bring out. So I'm telling my family members, and I'm not going to say any names and say anything, because he ended up catching it. And he's trying to tell me, look, don't let people talk you out of wearing your mask. You need to wear your mask. I said, people not talking me out of it. I'm telling you the facts. The fact of the matter is that mask and COVID don't have nothing to do with each other, to the point that some people, you can't go into stores and stuff, so they would take any type of cloth, bandana, put it over their face. Anything that's over your face, you're good. Forget a mask with the filtration and a hospital mask that can take this out or whatever the case may be. You can walk in the store, must have a mask on to get in the store. And you take any type of cloth, and put it over your face, and you good. And this cloth does not do anything to block out any type of filtration. Our government has fooled us so many times. We know this. And still people wearing the mask and put a mask on. Now the mask has been uplifted. And if you sick in any kind of way or catch a cold, there are people that's walking around at my job still wearing masks. They never stop wearing the mask. And I'm like, are you serious? That's how dumb you are? So now all of a sudden, I see one person that stopped wearing the mask. Oh, your husband or your wife allowed you to finally stop wearing that mask. I never wore the mask, never caught COVID, knock on wood. Never caught the COVID, never had the shots. they made me take the shots. They made me because I had to take the COVID test 14 different times, never caught it, because it's a whole different reason, I think, and I believe in about this COVID thing. So they're in this world, man. They playing a lot of tricks on us, man. And I think that if you wake up and start listening and just research for yourself, that's all I started researching for myself on a lot of stuff. Not listening to other people, he say, she say. If you're getting all your information from somebody else, you're doing it wrong. Even if you trust that person, you have to start researching it for yourself. God dang, you get way more information. I'm gonna get on up out of here. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.